The sector I deal with the most is education. I think there's definitely a real interest from teachers and school leaders to return to a face-to-face format where they can meet and chat in person and make those invaluable informal connections over coffee and over lunch, and be able to discuss in real life the challenges that they continue to face related to the pandemic, and more broadly just in their day-to-day jobs as well. But there's a real appreciation for the flexibility and inclusivity of virtual formats.
Hi everyone, and welcome back to another CN conference call. I'm Louisa Daley, a CN reporter, and this morning I'm joined by CN30 winner Lauren Powell, who is the head of portfolio at Inside Government. In this interview series, I'm going to learn more about our 2021 CN30 cohort and shine a light on their industry experience, knowledge, and thoughts. So, first up is Lauren. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. So today we're going to talk about the value of face-to-face events, which is, particularly important as they're ultimately returning, which is really good news. So first off, I kind of wanted to know, what is your view on hybrid events? Can they offer more than face-to-face ones? Can they replace them?
Yeah, so I think they can offer more, but I think it's a case of thinking about whether more is always right for the client or audience that you're creating the event for. So, there's obviously a lot of benefits to hybrid events in the sense of being able to reach more people through a streaming option as well as attending in person, or offering people the chance to catch up or revisit content after the day as well. And also being able to bring in more of an international element, perhaps, as the virtual element opens up the possibility for a greater diversity of attendees, of speakers, sponsors and exhibitors. And I think it's interesting as well to see how the hybrid format has and continues to take on various forms. Before the pandemic, I think we had quite a set view of what hybrid looked like, which was, delivering a live event and streaming the same content at the same time, perhaps with an online Q&A feature, but trying to offer the same experience for both sets of attendees as much as possible. But ideas have developed so much over the last 2 years. So now you might have a live event that's attached to an online platform that offers interaction opportunities or additional content to watch in advance of a live event, or different content for online and in-person audiences as well, with different price points to meet different needs, and also new ways for delegates to kind of meet and connect each other, whether that's through an online platform or, meeting on the online platform initially and planning to meet in person. So I think, there's a lot of innovation that's come to the fore, and it'll be interesting to see how this develops in the coming months and years.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, talking of this innovation, then I know that you did some kind of market research into the hybrid format. What have you found that your customers want from events in 2022, or even beyond when it comes to hybrid events or in-person events?
Yeah, so for me personally, the sector I deal with the most is education. I think there's definitely a real interest from teachers and school leaders to return to a face-to-face format where they can meet and chat in person and make those invaluable informal connections over coffee and over lunch. And be able to discuss in real life the challenges that they continue to face related to the pandemic, and more broadly just in their day-to-day jobs as well. But there's a real appreciation for the flexibility and inclusivity of virtual formats that we've delivered, over the last 2 years. From a time and cost saving perspective, when there's no travel involved, or being able to engage in the event, at their place of work, and then follow up on action points with colleagues almost in real time. And being able to keep on top of other work as well, whether that's answering emails or dealing with other queries during the session breaks. But right across the public sector, our organisation deals with a whole cross-section of sectors. There's definitely champions of both approaches. And I think frontline staff and senior leaders alike often want to connect in person, but appreciate the greater flexibility of virtual. So as much as possible moving forward, we really want to take the best of both worlds when thinking about what a quality event looks like. But I think it's really key to kind of continue having a tailored approach on an audience by audience basis. Determine whether what's crucial for them is the content, and therefore is that delivered best in an online, quickly accessible format, or is it about meeting and greeting peers from across the country, and therefore is that, best done in person so that the relationships can develop more in a more abundant way? Or, are people wanting to kind of engage with the creativity of new tech platforms that allow for delegate to delegate video calling, polling and different kinds of live Q&As, no matter where you are. But, I think event professionals tend to be really good at knowing their audience and their clients. So I think keeping their needs at the heart of any approach to hybrid moving forward will be key.
Yeah, 100%. And like you said, it's important to maintain that balance and kind of keep that tailored approach. But in your experience, when you've kind of been planning on running events like this, how have you ensured there's that value there for the attendees to kind of make it worthwhile for them to attend in-person events?
Yeah, I'm really excited to be getting back to in-person events. I think they're, kind of personally much more enjoyable than just being behind the Zoom screen. But yeah, I think it still comes back to that point that knowing your attendees are most important to them, and creating an event that is inclusive of what they want and need is what's really crucial. So, even though we know that our audience might be keen to meet with peers and form new partnerships, to ensure maximum value, we're, kind of trying to think of creative ways that we can build that into the day itself, whether that's including, networking sessions as part of the agenda, or, something more kind of structured elements to the day that we might not even have considered before the pandemic, adding those additional activities and options in for people to really make the most of their event experience. And then as well as continuing to offer some kind of virtual element for in-person events as well. So whether that's thinking about, what might be important to attendees in a broader sense following their experiences of attending events over the last 2 years, perhaps having a room allocated for concentrated working so that they can carry on, being able to take work calls or responding to emails during session breaks at events. And also keeping a safety element a top priority as well, acknowledging that while we are hopefully moving beyond the depths of the pandemic, everybody's got their individual concerns, and we want everyone to feel safe and welcome at in-person events. So, that goes beyond kind of having lots of hand sanitizer around and thinking about, making our events paper-free, for example. So still using the online platform to hold agenda information and speaker details and things like that. Which also then helps our sustainability credentials as well, which I think is something increasingly on everyone's mind. So yeah, I think value will mean different things to different people, different clients, different audiences. And it's about tapping into the specific audiences to really meet their needs and interests as much as possible.
Yeah, and I kind of like how you touched on and kind of highlighted how, everything in our industry is kind of interwoven, like, even if it is a hybrid or in-person event, there's diversity to consider, inclusion, sustainability. So giving your attendees or clients, that option is really the way forward. But hopefully there's lots more face-to-face events to come and we can all get back to what we love. But yeah, thanks so much for joining me, Lauren. It was great to get your insight today.
Yeah, no problem at all. Thanks for your time, Louisa. Really been good.
And thanks to everyone who's watching. Stay tuned for more CN30 interviews.